Ever feel overwhelmed by travel sensory overload? Here are even more small items that make a huge difference for me. This is a part 2 to a previous video that I made. The most important one for me is having multiple ways to charge my essential devices. I bought this originally to connect my iPhone to my laptop when my iPhone cable died. Then this became my main one. I also have this MagSafe charger. There was a time when I got sand inside my charging port, and this saved the day. Then I have this travel cutlery set, and I can't tell you how many times I've used it, and I don't want to have to hunt for or use disposable plastic. Also, I used it when I got to this house sit. I couldn't find the cutlery drawer, it was hiding. The next one is medicines, and I don't mean prescription medicines because I'm sure you'll have those with you. What I mean is the kind of medicines you might need if you got ill. So my tip is to carry just enough that will see you through until you or someone else can get to a pharmacy. Like, I didn't need a whole box of Sudafed. A few weeks ago, I was in the Philippines, and I found out the hard way that one anti-diarrhea tablet's not enough. I also now carry these rehydration salts. Really, really important. Another tip is to store any blister pack tablets inside a little protective bag. So these were leftovers that the pharmacy had given me in the Philippines. And I have in the past had like the blister packs break open, and then you have your essential medicine rattling around in the bottom of whatever, which isn't ideal. I also now protect my Band-Aids, my plasters. So this is just a little craft bag. I usually travel with empty ones of these because they are also food grade. But yeah, just to keep the packaging from splitting open, and then the Band-Aid is then not hygienic. I was recently on a flight and I sat down and I looked, and it looked like there was blood on the wall next to me, sort of smeared. And I raised this with the flight attendants, who assured me it was chocolate. My fellow passengers and I were looking at each other like, this is blood. The flight attendants gave me a little alcohol wipe and I cleaned it up. They also handed me this, which is a little sealed packet. It's 2 more latex gloves and an alcohol wipe. Maybe they thought I was going to find more, but thankfully I didn't, and hopefully I never need to use this, but I'm going to keep traveling with it just in case. The next one is I have a travel coffee filter. So it's mesh metal and it folds flat. It's awesome if I don't know what the coffee situation is going to be like, and I might travel with a little bit of coffee, or I might just buy some when I get there. That's easy too. I'm now a very focal lens wearer. I don't usually wear them when I'm filming, but for this, it makes sense. So I like to carry lens cleaner with me, and it also has its drawbacks, which means it's a liquid if I'm flying. So bearing that in mind, and also having a cloth handy or getting a tissue or some toilet roll. So I also carry these packaged wipes. I don't like using lots of disposable things, but in this case, it makes sense if I'm on the go. I also have an upcoming trip. It's just 5 days, and I'm going to just take these with me. I won't bother with trying to pack the whole spray bottle. My next one is this washable absorbent cloth. Again, I think it might be down to the type of travel you do, but if I'm somewhere and if there's a shared kitchen, I don't like other people's sponges and cloths. I'm just grossed out by that. So if I'm cleaning dishes, I really want them to be cleaned with something actually clean. So I use that for this. It just goes in the washing machine. I've also found it useful if I'm leaving accommodation. And I guess I'm maybe thinking about house sitting in this case, where let's say I've put the washing machine on and then I need to clean up some other spill or something, then this is good for that. It's light enough and it takes up no space, so it's been pretty helpful. In a previous video, I mentioned a USB rechargeable motion sensitive light that was good for nightlight. Unfortunately, I left it behind in Canada, but fortunately I have a backup, which is this guy right here. It's actually a light for, I guess, content creators, or if you were just doing a Zoom call or you needed some light on your face. But I've also used it now as a reading light. It is nice that it has multiple uses. So my next one, which is tissues. So I always travel with tissues. I get a runny nose when it's cold, and if there's any wind, then my eyes start to water. It's a whole thing. It's nice to have like a fresh pack, especially if I'm out somewhere and someone is sniffling, and that triggers my misophonia so badly. So I'm put on the mask and contain the rage, but ask very nicely, would you like a tissue? And I've actually had people decline, if you can imagine. Sniffling in public is not an option. I don't know why people do that. Ooh, what's this? This is a tongue scraper. I wouldn't class it as a travel item. It's an item you would just use like you would a toothbrush. And if you haven't used one, the reasons you might want to use one is that it just cleans off the tongue really nicely. It's much more effective and better for your tongue than a toothbrush. It gets rid of yucky taste, yucky smells. It helps you taste better because your taste buds just have less between them and the food. I think they're great. Also, it's really lightweight and it's dishwasher safe, so I travel with it. Next is the Humble foldable tote bag. And this corner here is the little pouch the whole thing folds into. And there's so many uses for it. I try to keep one with me in my bag in case I need it if I'm shopping and I need a bag. I also use it when I'm in transit to separate things. So for example, I already have my dirty clothes separated from my clean clothes, but I also like to separate clothes that are worn but not dirty from everything else. I've purchased the tech organizer and it has all the little slots for everything, but I found it really heavy and having slots for everything was kind of annoying for me. I don't know, maybe it's my ADHD. Instead, I just use this ratty old packing cube. It's super lightweight. And what I like about it even more than the tech organizer is that I can see through this mesh. Yeah, there's not much in it right now because most of it's distributed around the house, but it's been really helpful. I travel with 2 of these hangers. They fold up and they've been really helpful just for drying clothes or if I need to just hang things up to get some of the wrinkles out. Occasionally I have to hang other things up, so that's worked out too. And then I have my portable clothesline. I've used this for many things. So what's nice is these clips are really good for things like clipping curtains closed. You could also, depending on your accommodation situation, you could also use it to create a room divider or a privacy screen. You could use it to make a sunscreen. It's also elastic, so you could use it to anchor things down if it was windy. So yeah, there's a bajillion uses. And this light, and then, oh my God, I need another hand here. And then I've also been able to hang this light, and then this became my reading light. This dry bag has so many uses. I primarily use it for hand washing, and I store the hanging travel hangers, as well as my portable clothesline inside there when I'm in transit. For its intended purpose, which was as a dry bag when I did some island hopping recently in the Philippines. Also, it's good if you wanted to keep your phone away from sand, if you're at the beach. So yeah, it keeps things wet. No, it keeps things dry. If you put wet things inside, it keeps them from getting everything else wet. So that's great. And then you just hang it upside down to dry and it's good to go. Another one that has multiple uses is my microfiber towel. So I have one in extra large. So I originally was going to use it for yoga, but it by itself, it's just not, there's no cushioning. But I've used it for other things. It became an extra layer on cold nights on the bed, and that was really helpful. I've used it as a picnic blanket, or if I was on a boat and just the seat was all wet, I just put that down. So it has lots of uses. I don't like it for drying my skin. Like microfiber, it isn't a very pleasant feeling on the skin. I've also used it as a clean protective layer on top of other people's yoga mats or on top of a rug, because there's no way I'm going to be happy touching and getting close to rugs and other people's yoga mats without some kind of protection or, yeah. The towel itself dries beautifully. It washes really easily, so that's a keeper. I don't have it with me at the moment. I've left it in my storage unit. But if you want to see it in action, it's in this video here, The Ultimate Guide to Travel Organizers and Containers.